Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. It depends on where you are on this beautiful blue marble revolving around the sun here. Welcome to Analyze Your Trade and our weekly debrief, folks. We've been having an absolute blast this week here at TGO, getting long volatility. We literally sat in the webinar yesterday and got long. Looked to close two trades, a weekly trade on Amazon that we placed on Monday. Monday is our weekly options live trade brief. We had some guests joining us that day, and they're also back in here today. Hopefully they joined us again. So you saw in one day, potentially if you got filled, what was that, an $1,800 gain in a day on Amazon. Then yesterday in our accelerated retirement, we closed what was it? It was a 3-week bull put spread on Amazon for, what was that, $24.50 or something like that. That was on Wednesday, and then or yesterday, and then we looked at another bull put spread yesterday on Amazon, and now Amazon's up $26 today. So the trade that we placed yesterday on Amazon is already up $900. So we are in Analyze Your Trade, and we're going to debrief. We're going to take a look at China, some FXI. We'll take a look at some ExxonMobil. But Amazon, folks, is the gift that keeps on giving. And a lot of folks in this room are doing extremely well with their Amazon trades, and I'm very, very, very happy to hear about it. Because like I say, your success is my success. All right, so welcome aboard. Like I said, we do have some new folks joining us today that are guests from one of our strategic partners that emailed and promoted for this webinar. Folks, I'm going to treat you, the new potential new members, just as if you're a member. We're going to knock out a regular live trade brief in the methodology that we do. It's called SOT, strategic, operational, and then we get tactical at the end, and we take a look at our current positions and maybe even some new positions. Especially, definitely have to save a little time for volatility, because, what was it, 2 times this week we had our old market up, VIX up, something is up, and even Wednesday with the huge rally, the VIX was only down about 2%. So this really is a hold your nose rally, right? It's a hold your nose rally because we haven't seen a significant pullback. Here's our McDonald's rally. There's the golden arches to the 50-day. Up, head fake, another head fake, whoop. So we are going to head back down, folks. The market is looking for a reason to sell off here. Even Warren Buffett, on CNBC today, he's got what, 120 billion in powder he is keeping dry. Why? Because he's the type of guy that can yell fire in a crowded theater. Of course he's a politician, folks. He kind of danced around hey, so are you putting new capital to work? He more or less didn't say stocks are incredibly overvalued and this is ridiculous, but he more or less said, I'd be a little careful here. So, anyway, let's do our strategic brief and see what's going on around the globe. We're also pulling back a little bit just because the euphoria of this U.S.-Mexico trade pact, it faces scrutiny from lawmakers, right? Half the people interviewed on TV, hey, how do you feel about this, Senator or Congressman? Well, I haven't seen the deal yet. So pretty sure if this guy did it, it's most likely not going to suck. Any deal better than NAFTA is money in our pockets. NAFTA sucked. For the past 20, 30 years, we've done a bowing tour around the world, right? We've more or less taken it on the chin so everybody will love us, right? No. It's like giving $150 billion to mullahs in Iran in the middle of the night, on unmarked airplanes, hoping they won't kill us or, engage in terrorism. It's stupid. So this guy, one of the reasons we rallied, and remember, folks, on Monday when we were in this room, I said, hey, whenever we have one of these rip your face off rallies on a Monday like this, we give it back as the week goes on. And that's exactly what's going to happen. I think we're going to kind of sell off into the close. I know eyebrow Prime Minister Trudeau said, hey, we might even get a deal done with the U.S. by Friday. That just doesn't – I don't see that. I've talked to people who up in the Great White North there, they see zero chance in that happening. So the president did a great job negotiating with Mexico and left Canada out of it on purpose to make that dude more or less want to come to the negotiating table. He tried to sound tough for a couple days, and then he picked up the phone and called Donald and said, hey, can we get something done? So, exactly, Dutch. For decades, it's been a win-lose. If you're a real estate developer from New York, the only deal you'll do with anybody is, at a minimum, a win-win. We've been getting screwed. And the guy, love or hate him, he looked at the Chinese premier. He's like, hey, man, good on you. If I could have screwed you guys for 30, 40 years and made a shit pot of money, I would have done it to you. So I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming all of my previous idiot predecessors. Again, love or hate the guy. This is, it is, so Thomas, not sure how. Guys, Ray and Thomas, I don't trade AMD. I don't know where you got that trade, or I don't know what that is. So U.S.-Canada launched talks amid pressure to rewrite NAFTA. NAFTA sucked. What was it? Initially under Reagan, big deals under Clinton. It wasn't good. So I'll say it again. I said it for the past 2 weeks. I said when, not if we get a trade deal with China, we will see a market rally that makes 2017 look like a bear market. I'm not kidding you, man. This is a coiled spring. And many of you know me. I'm Joe Bear here. I'm Eeyore, right? I'm sitting here looking at all the ways we can get killed, and this market's going to implode. I want it to get done, and the president does too. I mean, people are starting to talk about this October surprise, right? The president, ladies and gentlemen, and I told some of you all this week, the president knows everything that happened. He knows the FBI, the DOJ most likely committed treason. It most likely went all the way up to President Obama. And Jeff Sessions is doing nothing. Zero. We got news this week that a Chinese firm hacked Hillary Clinton, has those 33,000 emails that she deleted. Wonder what's in them. So he's prodding. Why half a political rant here? Because we have an election coming up, man. If you don't think the president is, more or less this week in a couple of tweets, he said, hey, Jeff, you either do your job. I'm not going to fire you because, of course, Democrats' faces would melt off. I'm not going to fire you. I'm just going to do everything. I'll declassify. The ultimate declassifying authority in the United States, folks, is who? It's the president of the United States. He can do whatever he wants to do. So he can declassify all this stuff. And as I kind of gave you a little intel this week, it's awful. My buddy said, "Hey, Whiz, it's so bad. What potentially could have happened on the other side? I mean, if after 2 years and $20 million, Bob Mueller's found a dirty New York attorney who records his clients and a dude that evaded taxes in 2002, that's it." He's saying, hey, man, if we even turn the lights on the other side of the kitchen, it might be the end of our republic. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. This scuzzy Bruce Orr and his wife, and it's Strozik and his mistress and the FBI. It's gross. And John McCain, blah, 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 hero salute. He also took the dirty dossier and gave it to the FBI. So, and of course, we can't say anything of that because mourning John McCain right now is a great excuse to rip apart Donald Trump. But what's going on this week? Fourth quarter GDP revised up, right? 4.2%. Wow, from 4.0. We got consumer confidence. 18-year highs. The last time consumers were this confident was in 2000 when my son was born at Balboa Naval Hospital in San Diego, man. Unbelievable consumer confidence. So can we run higher? Of course we can. Will we? I think we're going to take a breather. This is why we put what we call a trade, right? A trade that also serves as a hedge on earlier in the week. We looked at a bull put spread on VXX, and it seems to be kind of hanging, seems to, we're hanging around that 29-ish, right? 28.5, 28 bull put spread. Something is good. This has been a pretty long extended period of no freak out. Okay. I mean, major freak out. And then there's a nice little pop. There's a nice little pop. There's a big pop, a bigger pop. We haven't had. So the reason we put that VXX bull put spread on this week was what? I said something is going to happen in the next week and a half to freak this market out. And we have what? A 3-day weekend coming up. I'm actually heading up to Orlando if it's a 3-day weekend, it ain't the beach. It is sitting in a hockey rink. So Jack's got a tournament up up in Orlando. So 3-day weekend. This week, Iran said, yeah, we control the Straits of Hormuz and we'll kill anybody in it. Fifth Fleet. It's international waters. Come get us. Argentina might be collapsing with their currency, might need an IMF bailout. Russia naval buildup off Syria. There's a lot going on here, guys. You just have to have one hand on your ejection handle as you're flying here. So we'll dogfight this market. Like I said, it's a hold your nose rally, man. At this point, we're getting hypoxic. Every time I say we're getting hypoxic, what happens? Right here, hypoxic. And almost to a day or two, we've nailed each one of these pullbacks. So I'm telling you, we're getting ready for a pullback, but nothing major, right? Nothing major back to the 58. I mean, we've avoided near-death experiences with the 50 days on these, and we traded around it here. A little bit of a touch here. So I don't think we're going to have one of these. We might have one of these kind of give some of this back. So, but overall, things are good. Yeah, hedge funds are piling into short tech stocks, and that's because we have had a nice little bit of a run here, right? So global markets slide a little bit as what? Trade war fears return. Well, where did they go? We've always been briefing you on this, right? The FXI bear call spread. Let's take a look at this. What did I say Tuesday? I said, we'll talk about FXI and analyze your trade. Give me one more day or 2 more days. It hovered, and then it went down here. So we got a little pop earlier in the week on what? The trade deal with Mexico. So, to be honest with you, China probably couldn't even point out Mexico on a map. They're like, who? Trade deal? So this whole Larry Kudlow, Larry's a good dude, this trade deal with Mexico is a shot across China's bow that they better get going. And okay, seriously, China could sneeze and take over Mexico. Canada, a little bit bigger, and obviously their dairy stuff, and the president's like, we don't get a deal. There's going to be 300% tariffs on your stuff and autos, and it's a back and forth, right? But none of this is scaring the Chinese, in my opinion. So let's plot the couple FXI bear call spreads we've put on. The PBOC, the People's Bank of China, jumped into safe capitalism right around here, as the Shenzhen or most of the Chinese markets went into bearish market territory. After this initial shot in the arm, which you might think is good news, wow, the People's Bank of China is stepping into safe capitalism. Okay, once that short-term adrenaline wears off, the market goes, whoa, it's got to be worse than we think if the government's getting involved. And then we kind of went, we're probably going to go lower. PBOC jumps in to save capitalism, another injection of liquidity. Again, short term, oh crap, it's got to be worse than even this time. Then what happened? This was 2 weeks ago. Trump, huge. Nobody's going to do China deal better than me, but in 2 weeks, we're going to send the undersecretary of getting my coffee to meet the, cream of some young guy. What did they do? Nothing. They left last Friday's meeting with no agreement except to agree that maybe they should agree to talk about maybe having a talk in the future. Awful news. Pop on the Mexico deal. So now we're back to here, guys. We're back to here, which means what? That, and that. You can take eeny, meeny, miny, mo and put it right here. So that's a very long explanation for what? FXI is a hold. So if I were let's take a look at that trade. If I were in the current FXI bear call spread, here it is, the 42.5, 43. 42.5, where is it right here? Let's just bring up the metrics. I mean, it's for tomorrow, guys. So we're hanging out. It's the 42.5. I don't think the FXI is going to catch a massive bid tomorrow. Trudeau said what? Tuesday afternoon. Well, we might have a trade deal by Friday. I don't think that's going to happen. So this is a hold right now, guys. So right now, let's just price it out. The 42.5, 42.5, 43. How many of you are still in this trade? I said this last week. Remember when it was potentially losing some money? I said, no, don't go anywhere. This is a hold. So Larry, Tim, David, Harry, John, David, George. Okay, good. This is a hold, guys. This will be a dogfight. This will be a dogfight Friday, but I don't see this market I don't see this market catching a bid into the close tomorrow. I just don't. What do we got here? Chicago PMI tomorrow, University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, and inflation expectations. Okay. So I think it gives some back. Okay, so this is a hold. I'm not doing anything with this trade. Absolutely no updates to it. If anything, I'd put on another one out a couple weeks. Here's the here's the 2.5 month trend, guys. Is that a bullish chart? I mean, this is an escalator downhill. There is no resolution to the China trade war in sight. If anything, before our two deputy undersecretaries met, what did we do the day before? We shot $16 billion in additional tariffs on top. So it's exactly, Fish. Going into a 3-day weekend, ain't nobody in my trading firm, if I was running a big one, would be getting long going into the weekend. Matter of fact, we'd be taking a 4-day weekend because it makes no sense to start jumping around and trading on stuff with no basis, right? So I'd be getting skinny before I went into the weekend. Okay, so that's FXI. That's the current bear call spread, and that's a hold. I'm a 50 delta on mentioning this or talking about this. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, but definitely when the Jan 21s come out, I think when we see a Jan 21 right here, I think I'm getting back in here and being Captain Kirk. If you don't know that term, we have some potential Captain Kirk trades, right? China is not going out of business. China will get a trade deal done with the United States. I just can't tell you when. Could be, is it before the election so Trump gets a big market rally? Don't know. Do the Chinese see Trump weak, impeachable, and we're going to really try and get a harder deal, so maybe it's a year from now? Maybe. I don't know. But at the end of the day, folks, in 2 years from now, in a Jan 21, China is going to be China. I haven't briefed you on their naval buildups recently or any of that type of stuff. Their home-built aircraft carrier. There is some really good stuff going on. That's out here into the future. And that's what's cool about trading options is we can hop in our Super Hornet and go the speed of light and go out to Jan 21 when they roll off the flight deck. Dutch, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm hanging in this trade. So if you're feeling a little frosty and you want to get out for break even right now, you could. But no, I'm probably going to dogfight this into the close. This is a gap down at the open, and we've kind of held this low. I don't see. Here's the risk to this trade, guys. Is I know Trudeau said on Tuesday, hey, we could get a trade deal by Friday. Maybe there's some surprise announcement tomorrow that we have a trade deal with Canada, and the market has ripped your face off. Really, I don't feel it. Nah, I don't feel it. So, exactly. Get out a pack of Lucky Strikes and sip on your Jack there. So ExxonMobil, I love what I say. I said, give me 2 more days. In the PLTB, I said, give me 2 more days. Starting to roll it like clockwork. What did it hit? What did it hit right here and then sell off? Right there, that's our 50-day moving average, that green line right there. You see it? There's a little tick actually up to that. Look at what we did yesterday, right up to that 50-day moving average. This is why I said, give me 2 more days, right? So the 80 and a half, the short calls, the bear call spread, this also is a hold. Okay. So this is no more comment on ExxonMobil. Anything that's a hold, I'll give you my reasons why it's a hold, but that's about it. Joe, worst case, can we roll it 1 week for next to nothing? Joe, and I assume we can go back to FXI real quick. I assume you're talking about like an FXI bear call spread. I don't do that. Can you? Absolutely. The answer to your question is absolutely, man. Whiz, I could roll it right out a week for for even, right? So sure. Me, I like having multiple airplanes, right? Meaning I'd keep my current bear call spread on for tomorrow. I'd put a new one on out for maybe 2 weeks from now. Okay. So I'm not too big of a roller But it is, and to be honest with you, most professional traders don't roll these things, guys. They know, they look at this trade and go, all right, man, I know that I'm risking, what was the risk in this one? 5,100. It was 5,300. They just sit there and go, hey, man, this was my strategic mindset and my commit criteria when I entered the trade. It hasn't changed. Why would I get out of it? So, Joe, the answer is yes. You could roll it out a week for whatever the roll would be. If it's even, great. That helps you sleep better at night. Do it. I'd actually put on, and I'm not even going to call it a repair trade at this point. I mean, I'd put on a new bear call spread right at this, either the middle of this Keltner channel. What's that, 43? Maybe let's just look. Let's go out a couple weeks. I just don't see that much good news coming out of China. Maybe like the 43 and a half, 44s, something like this. So I just look at a new spread instead of doing a roll. But that's, at the end of the day, Joe, you're flying your Hornet. I'm flying my Hornet. Our mission objective is to shoot down MiGs. The way you set up your cockpit and manage it is completely up to you. But the tactic you mentioned is absolutely doable. Whiz, so do you like a new one above? Yeah, right here. This is the one I'd be looking at. This is, I want to talk about some other stuff here. That's actually a high probability trade. The risk is a little north of I'd try and get 13 cents here. If we're going to wallow around this afternoon, maybe. So, all right, this is what I would do. And just because of my strategic mindset on China. Every one of these rallies, folks, has been on the way down this escalator. Every rally in FXI has been sold. This one was going to be this little, hey, we're in negotiations. Wait, we didn't agree with anything. Deal with Mexico. This would have been a sell-off rate. This would have been that or that. That didn't happen because we got the yay with Mexico. 3 days later, people like me are going, actually not 3 days later, the other day in the PLTV, people are like, hey, what about the FXI trade? I'm like, dude, give me 2 more days. Nobody cares about a Mexico trade deal when you're talking about China. So I like this. I like keeping the one for tomorrow, and I like this one out a couple weeks. I don't want to go out further than a couple weeks just because, this isn't Amazon. Yesterday we went out a month and put on a bull put spread, and we closed the bull put spread from a month ago. CSX, nice transportation trade. Feel comfortable going out a month on that type of thing. FXI, this is very tactical. Literally, we're a tweet or a breaking news conference away from good or bad. But in my opinion, he hasn't started talking like he's talking to North Korea yet. Remember, I'm gonna rain fire and fury down on North Korea. And then, 6 months later, I have great respect for the dear leader and this and that. He's kissing his ass, right? Because he was negotiating, behind closed doors. He might listen to some of his advisors who are like, hey man, now we're on Operation Blow Smoke Up this guy's, where the sun don't shine. And, so I haven't seen it when he talks trade with China. Every once in a while, he'll throw in I respect President Xi. However, they've been screwing us for years and blah, blah. It doesn't sound too friendly. So I am bullish on FXI. I'm bullish. I'm bearish on FXI. I've been a long week trading. So I'd look to sell 150 of a couple 2 Fridays out, 43 and a half calls. That's me saying, hey, where's 43 and a half? Right here. The last time we topped out as we went down this hill, right around 43 and a half. Of the calls, that's saying, hey, by September 14th, FXI, I don't think you're above 43 and a half. So what if you're wrong, man? We get a trade deal done by next Tuesday on China. It was just uber top secret. Well, that'll be good for my overall portfolio because I got a lot of good looking longs in there, but it'll suck for this trade, right? So I buy upside calls in case we do have a rip your face off rally in FXI. Okay. So when we analyze this trade, it's a little north of my SOP, my standard operating procedure of not wanting to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. That's based on a notional $100,000 portfolio and not wanting to risk more than 5% of it, wanting to live to fight another day. Once you say, you know what, man, that would suck if that happened, but I understand my risk. I'm the pilot in command. I've read the maintenance book for this aircraft. I'm going to put my signature, date, and my rank. I own it. I understand that's my risk. Now you can look up here, Mr. or Mrs. Metrosexual Happy, and say, okay, I'm risking 55 to potentially make 2. That's a semi-decent risk-to-reward ratio, right? And using at-the-money volatility, as I'm speaking to you in these options on FXI, there's a 60, at least according to E-Trade's black box pricing, 69% probability of making that full profit and almost a 72% probability of at least making some scratch. But if you didn't buy what I'm selling there with, this is why I think FXI goes down. Here's the beautiful thing about options, folks, is what? You can take the other side of that trade. Whiz, I couldn't disagree more. I think we get a trade deal in the next 2 weeks with China. It's a rip your face off rally. Then you're the other side of this trade. Literally, you can take the other side of it and do a bull put spread. I wouldn't, for all the reasons I've told you, but that's the cool thing about being an options trader. And I have to remind people that, I don't believe that. Then take the other side of it. Well, I'm not that confident. Okay, then. So, all right, let me send this out via text. So I like this. I'm going to hold my current one. The Dow, the S&P, everything's just kind of wishy-washy today. I mean, Trump's still, the man's on a tirade right now, and he's right. Love or hate the guy. These limousine liberal tech companies are censoring conservative speech. Period. Google got fined $1.7 billion from the EU for what? Manipulating search results. So Google comes out the other day and says they don't to the president. So you only do in the European Union. They fined you because of that. So, anyway, so yeah, good article in the Post. We should all be worried about this. I talked about this the other day. Google and Facebook, along with their Instagram, can do what? They can take you out of the public square, man, or they can do what they're doing to Trump. You Google Trump news, and the first 100 stories are all negative and from liberal or what I would consider not neutral things. So it sucks. But it just feels like a wishy-washy day, and it doesn't feel like tomorrow we're going to see any sort of massive buying into the close. Analyze your trade and debrief. New FXI bear call spread. And for the folks that are joining us, what I'm doing right now is, or you're watching me on the replay, most of our members work. So everything is recorded. So you can be sitting there in work, and you're going to get a text alert, 43.5 calls. And then at the 44. And then in about, 30 minutes after the webinar, I get an email together with the screenshots of the trade and the replay and post it on the website. So you get the text alert immediately, even if you're not in here. You get the screenshots and an email and the replay about a half an hour to an hour after the webinar. It's a 13-cent. I try and get a 13-cent credit. For today, I'd go as low as 12 cents and as high as 14. Outside of 12, I'm just not going to chase it. I'd rather get, you know what? I should have looked at the volume here because you guys pounded that down to 11 cents just now. That's awesome. We're moving the markets again, folks. Look at this. I guarantee that's all us right in there. Well done. Well, of course. All right, so maybe adjust this trade. 21 cents and maybe eject at 26. Get out of the trade. Holding current bear call spread. That's the one through tomorrow. Analyze your trade. Get rid of that so I can fit it all in one text. All right. So that is FXI. Blast that out to everybody. And then my phone just buzzed. That means everything's good. Oh, that's funny as shit. As soon as I said Google, my phone turned on and the search thing started working. That's a little creepy. Anybody see that conference that Mark Zuckerberg spoke at like 6-8 months ago? Anybody see he had his laptop on stage? He's giving a presentation. Anybody see what was covering his camera on his computer? He had tape over his camera. So, CP, you watching the total blast off in Apple? Nah. CP, I don't trade Apple anymore. You know what I trade. You can have your Apple, man. I'll sit my Amazon. Apple's going up on Warren Buffett saying he loves it. Good for him. But Apple uses child labor, uses 10-year-old children in China to make their phones. Those chickens are going to come home to roost, man. You want to talk about getting serious in a trade war with China? Who's the company that China mentioned 2-3 weeks ago? Like, hey, this gets a little bit more serious. You're not going to sell another iPhone in this country again. So, Thomas, I've had tape on mine since then. Exactly. It's the FBI watching them. So, let me scroll up here. Yeah, Kevin, when, not if, I like the language you're using there, when, not if we get a trade deal with Canada, he is, Canada's a little bit more significant than the trade deal with Mexico. It's not insignificant, I get it. But yeah, that's why I'm saying we have to be careful with getting all these bear call spreads on FXI. I think I'm 1 for 5 lately. One of these days we're going to wake up and Trump's like, never had a better friend in my life than China. Forget about it. Wait, you said you hated him yesterday. That was yesterday. So, it's, Arthur, I believe. Arthur, I haven't heard that. I believe they stopped Chinese suppliers from doing that child labor stuff. Arthur, do you believe that? I don't believe a word of that. And even in that China statement a couple weeks ago when they're like, hey, Apple, you might be a victim of this trade war, they said what? You won't have access to our lower labor costs. So I'm not thinking anytime soon that they hired, 22-year-old men to put their iPhones together. I think that's a lie. So, all right, real quick though on Amazon, how many of you, since we're debriefing, how many of you got in, we talked about the $10 wide spread yesterday on Amazon. How many of you are in this one, the September 28th, the 1960-1950? What a good looking trade. Already in a day, it's up, what, $1,000 or something? Jesus. This is the gift that keeps on giving, guys. Amazon you can't make this shit up. So look at that. Pop. Now, somebody just asked about CSX, but I'll talk about that in a second. But this, the Jan 20 is just disgusting, guys. So CP, if you're an Apple guy, great. I'm not. If you're an Amazon guy, when we said get out of Apple, get out of Facebook, get out of Twitter, get out of all the limousine liberal stocks, if you believe me at that moment, like many of you did, you're up 100. The stock itself, 112%. It's Kevin, synthetic stock, $20,000 each day. Man, Jesus Christ, that's insane. Look at this. We were up at 2020 when I was driving up from Fort Lauderdale this morning. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. I said it 9 times yesterday in the webinar. I'm going to say it again. There is a distinct possibility during the life of this trade, it goes back down to 1970. And after it does that, the next stop will be 2100. Easily. Okay, so I briefed you. I don't want to hear 3 weeks from now when Amazon does go back down through folks, unless it breaks its prior history of going up to the next round number, going through it, going up to the right. Of course, you can't trade off the left side of a chart, guys. And it's like driving around the Daytona 500 looking in your rearview mirror. But it's the law of large numbers, folks. Traders, algorithms, we like 2000, 1900, 1800. We don't like the middle here. So we'll go back down to this. How certain are you of that, Whiz? I'd say I'm a 50 delta, because if I were really certain, what would I do right here? Sell a bear call spread. But are you nuts? So I'm not. I don't believe it that much. So yeah, if you I did some homework on Amazon. Since they crossed 16, 17, 18, 1900, the average pullback is 49 points from the century mark. Steve, that's awesome research. I said that, anecdotally yesterday. I'm glad you looked at that and did some homework. He's right. I just by trading this thing, I know that that's what happens. So we'll get a pop here, and then we're going to go down to the 1980s ish. It's going to happen, man. Trust me. Okay, so Mike, your name is not Garmin. Now, if it was, I wouldn't be in business. Just take whatever that dude says, take the other side of that trade. But if you didn't get into your Amazon bull put spread yesterday, I'd still be looking at another one, and I'm comfortable enough in Amazon to go out a month. Absolutely. Okay. Somebody asked about CSX earlier. CSX is looking good. And we expected this, right? So giving a little bit back here, looking at that. Now we might look at that bear call spread. We might leg into an iron condor here. Let's go back to now, because I said yesterday, give me one more day on CSX to see if this thing's gonna. So currently, we have the Sept 18, 72.5, 72 bull put spread. Okay, 72.5, 72, bull put spread at 15 cents. Okay, we're risking 5,100 to potentially make 2,400. This is a yes, man. This is a yes. No, I wouldn't wait until Tuesday. As a matter of fact, I'd absolutely not wait until Tuesday. I want to put on a bear call spread because I think CSX might have a little bit more to the downside here. So, good question. No. Actually, since I do think we're going to sell off into the close tomorrow, and the transports will as well, now's when I'd be doing this. What is it, 70, maybe the 74.5. Let's take a look at this. Let's go out to the regular Sept expiration where we have 75 and a half. Oops, other direction. Let's try it. Let's do this. I mean, this is pretty damn conservative. All right, now it's where's Tim? Tim, you in here? Now it's Iron Condor time on CSX. I love this trade. This is it. All right, guys. Now I want to leg into an Iron Condor on CSX. Okay, Kevin, I would also do short. Can you guys hear me? So the max potential loss, guys, is $5,300. Okay. So we're risking 53 to potentially make 23. That is a nice risk to reward ratio. But this is wrong. What do you mean it's wrong, Whiz? We're not risking $5,200. All right, dude. Men lie, numbers don't. You're lying. No, if you just did this trade as a standalone trade, Whiz, I don't have the bull put spread on, then your risk is $5,300. If you have the bull put spread on, I guarantee you our risk in the total bear call spread bull put is going to be around $3,600 ish. Isn't that awesome? So to beat everybody who's about to type the question, is this a good standalone trade? Yeah. I'd do this as just a regular bear call spread if I didn't have the bull put spread on, but I would put the bull put spread on too. Why would you risk $5,200 when you could maybe only risk $3,500 by putting on a bull put spread? Does that make sense? So make sure you go back to the accelerated retirement portfolio and look at the bull put spread. Okay, so let me grab a screenshot of this. So I like the metrics of this trade. In 3 weeks, maybe making $2,300. We've had some great CSX trades. I think I got blown out of the top of one iron condor like what was that, a month ago or something? CSX 830. But net guys, and look where we got into it. Let me grab this real quick so we can text. But we got into this with our Gordon Gekko moment when the old skipper died. Bless his heart. Right there. Whiz, there's no way you can predict. I did. After the day after the dude died, we got into it. And I said, good turnaround plan, good transport. And it is up 43%. That's outperforming Apple, folks. So again, I fly and fight your own airplane. I cannot stand the limousine liberal fang companies. They're going to implode under the weight. So, yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if I hit my mute button or what happened there. All right, let's blast this out. Make sure you look at the existing bull put spread if you don't have one on, so you can leg into the iron condor. If you don't know what an iron condor is, folks, make sure you take a test flight, a 2-week test flight at the end of our webinar here. Well, let me just throw that up right now. So if you're joining us, didn't mean to be rude. This is how we do our, I don't do 92 marketing slides for anybody who's joining us for the day. You come in and I treat you as if you're just a regular old squadron mate. So here's where it's, $38? I think that was I had a glass of 1942 down in Fort Lauderdale last night. It was $45. So for cheaper than the price of a glass of 1942 in Fort Lauderdale, you can take a 2-week test flight. All right, so let me blast this out. So analyze your trade and debrief is a portfolio new CSX bear call spread. I'll show the existing bull put spread in a second. Legging into iron condor. If I could spell condor. I'm looking at 150 contracts. In your spread training that you're going to get 8 sessions, I'll explain all this stuff to you. That's the expiry. I'm going to sell the 76 calls. I'm going to buy the 76.5 calls at what? At a 15-cent credit. That's for today. I'd go about 2 cents wide to get filled. This is mid-market, so I'd go as low as stretching it. Yeah, about 2 cents wide, plus or minus 2 cents. Yeah, maybe, listen to my words, maybe adjust at around 22 and maybe eject around 30. Okay. All right, so that is the bear call spread. For those of you who aren't in the bull put spread, there you go, Fish. Brad, yeah, I covered that. Good standalone trade. But why would you do this as a standalone with 5,300 in risk when you could have, well, let's take a look at the risk instead of me making stuff up. I'll show you the current bull put spread. Let's go back to CSX. So hold on, let me send us out to our SMSP or our retirees with no cell phones who are at peace with themselves. Paste. AYT&D new CSX bear call spread. All right, so here is the existing bull put spread. When did we put this on? 22 last yep. So last Wednesday, right here, we put on a bull put spread in CSX. It's the 72.5, 72. risking 51 to potentially make 24. So remember this. Let's do the math here. This one says $5,100 in risk. The other one was what, 53. So if you're new to options, you might be sitting there going, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me, Whiz? You're risking $10,400 on this trade, on these two trades? No. Okay, well, it says it right there, man. Nope. Let's add the bull put spread. Add option, put, $1.50, sell the 72.5 puts right here, and buy the 72s. This is the iron condor. Oh my God, man! You think I do this for a living? No, Arthur. I just legged into an iron condor, not a butterfly. This is an iron condor. You see this? So, folks, this is an iron condor. If you're not familiar, so for those of you sitting there going, "Holy crap! 10 grand in risk he's smoking crack." Nope, it's not 5 o'clock yet. If you do both these trades, the bear call and the bull put, you are only risking $3,600. How much can you make? $3,900. I'm no sorcerer. I get my call signs Whiz, but isn't that cool? So yes, these are good standalone trades, but why would you do a standalone trade? The only reason you do a standalone trade, guys, is because your strategic mindset isn't that CSX is going to channel between these two strikes. If you think it's either going to drop or pop, yeah, you only do one of those spreads. But if you're sitting there going, no, man, it's had a decent run, and it's getting ready to maybe, look at this, earnings, rip your face off, rally, tear. This is the first significant 1, 2, 3. We had a 1, 2, a 1, 2. This is kind of a 1, 2, 3. So I expect next week it'll probably get back on its horse. We get a trade deal done with China. With Canada, there's trucks. Take a look at the U.S. border with Canada, man. Holy trucks, Batman. So, Virginia, why do you keep swearing in Jesus' name? I cannot tolerate profanity in the Lord's name. I am out of here. Okay, Virginia. You know, my apology. Well, you left, so I'm not going to say anything. So there goes Virginia. Christ Almighty. Maybe her, whatever, man. Freaking sailor. See you, lady. I did apologize. Ugh. Anyway, so folks, this is the resulting iron condor. Let me take a screenshot of this. I'm whatever, folks. I really, you're getting the eavesdrop on me trading, and if you don't want to hear me mumbling, then don't be a member. I just really don't care at the end of the day. Didn't mean to offend somebody's religion, but Virginia, or whatever your name was, you most likely weren't going to fit in here anyway. So it's usually those squeaky wheels who become the biggest pain in the ass members, to be honest with you. So yeah, and don't get me started, Virginia. With my experiences with the Catholic Church, I think the Pope should be arrested. All those guys should be arrested. And you don't even want to know what I think about organized religion, so I'm glad you left. Anyway, Paul, I prefer what the fuck. All right, I'll start. Tim, I didn't even notice. Am I a bad person? There you go, George. You can kill the sound and just watch the screen. I apologize, guys, but that's comical. At this point, we have a blast here and we have a lot of fun. If you're that uptight and you honestly think I take the Lord's name in vain as a blasphemous individual, we ain't going to get along. So, anyway, yeah, it cracks me up. But anyway, yeah, Arthur, I'm with you, man. Don't get me started about the Vatican and they're mobsters. They're the mafia. They cover up. They should be prosecuted under RICO. I was raised an Irish Catholic. Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot to thank you for this. Let me do this. So as this lady's blaspheming me to her her snake handler pastor in North Carolina. Let me say thank you. This is on the Top Gun Options page, guys. This is all you. Yesterday afternoon, I got a couple of awards from the Mothers Against Drunk Driving here in Broward. You guys, Top Gun Options members, we were the largest corporate. We won, man. Largest corporate team. Where is it? This was yesterday. It's you guys know it's bittersweet for me. My sister was killed by a drunk driver when she was a freshman at Villanova, but this was yesterday afternoon at like the awards thing. So there you go, guys. Thank you for doing this. You guys did this. The top corporate team was Top Gun Options. And then some of you, I don't know how they did it. We were like a team, but also I think some of you donated like on my own little team. I don't know how it worked, to be honest with you. So I got the top fundraiser. So it was very cool. But it's always bittersweet because the reason I'm at that thing is because I lost a sister. How did I get rambling about this was the organized religion stuff. I raised an Irish Catholic, one of 6 kids in New Jersey. I was an altar boy. I went to all boys Catholic high school, blah, blah, blah. So don't give me any of your bullshit about organized religion. I am a recovering Catholic, and I think it's disgusting. You know why the New York Times and all these liberals are coming to the Pope's defense? Because the guy gives a shit more about climate change and lecturing Donald Trump on immigration policy than he does disgusting men who should burn in hell molesting children or young boys. It's a disgrace. So, well, CP, she's gone. So, but what I'm saying is, don't preach to me about religion or taking the Lord's name in vain. I'm pretty sure, if there is a Lord, he's freaking pissed at the Catholic Church. I was always raised as a Catholic to believe that a priest was what? He was Jesus. He's God incarnate on earth. And those son of a bitches knew that, and they went into those positions of authority and took advantage of the least protected. It's awful. It's awful. I'll leave it at that. Benji, try being a Baptist. Yeah. So, Arthur, just so you know, public schools have a far worse child molestation record than any Catholic church, but they will never report that. Arthur, I could not disagree more with that. Period. We haven't even scratched the surface of the Catholic Church. Guess what? Most of the victims are silent. Arthur, I hear about one every other 8 months, like some, good-looking high school teacher having sex with a 17-year-old boy. That's about the extent of if you know more than I do, God bless you. I've never heard that. So I've never heard that. I know the experiences of the Catholic Church. These men should be arrested. They should be prosecuted. They should be thrown in the gates of hell for what they've done to children. So anyway, there's your religion rant. I didn't know that one was coming, but I didn't know I was blaspheming the Lord. Pretty sure there ain't no atheist in a foxhole there either, lady. All right. So let's how are we looking here? Any breakdown or afternoon drinking? Nope. No breakdown there. Let's just hang. I'd hang in FXI. It's head down, and the same thing with the ExxonMobil. So, not my first rodeo, but you are on the edge for sure. With the other stock advisors doing what you do, not a religious thing, frankly. A turnoff to hear sailor talk. Speaking honestly, hey, Kirk, I appreciate it, man. This is the way I run my business, and just like a baker in Colorado, you're free to buy a cake here or not. So I appreciate the debrief, but this is, guys, you get to watch me trade, right? You guys get to watch me trade and my stream of thought and my consciousness. If I'm going to try and quote unquote, in your opinion, Kirk, clean up what I do, that ain't me, right? I remember when we were going to merge with T3 and they're like, hey man, you got to drop the politics out of your daily videos. That's just, you're alienating people. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's the way I trade. So, Kirk, if you want to hear sailor talk, go on the floor of the exchanges. I remember doing a tour with, some young ladies on the floor of the SIBO. They made sailors sound like Girl Scouts. So, thank you, Doyle. This is my stream of consciousness, guys. And if you want me to clean it up, I won't be me. So at the end of the day, it's It's but no, Kirk, I appreciate it. If it's a turnoff to you, you certainly don't have to be a member. And but this is what people pay for, to hear my stream of consciousness. And trust me, Kirk, at the end of the day, I hold back. For those of you who have come to our live events and we have fun, and after a couple we get some airspeed on the jet, I will tell you how I really feel. So please stay as you are. Thank you, guys. I you know I respect everybody's opinion, and I kind of, but it's funny because at the end of the day, I did this before Top Gun Options, and then I'm like, hey, why don't I teach people how to do this shit? I'm sitting here anyway. Let me just turn on the camera and rant. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up here. Like I said, if I didn't turn you off by blaspheming the Lord or a little bit of sailor talk, my God, folks, seriously, the trading floor or the ready room of a fighter squadron, I'm speaking like an altar boy. If you don't think Wall Street traders, but anyway, this is. Robert, you don't have a chat window in GoToWebinar. Nobody does. I'm reading these comments. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now. We have 2 live trade briefs a week that are in Go to Training, so you guys can see each other's chat. So this is, this is what I see, and then thanks, Judy. This is your house, your rules. I appreciate that. So I when that lady was yelling at me, Anyway, so 2 of our webinars each week, guys, these 2, since we have more than 200 people, we have to be in GoToWebinar. So GoToWebinar and GoToWebinar. And the others are GoToTraining, and so you can see each other's chat. So it's fun. Like Accelerated Retirement yesterday, you guys are all shooting the shit. Can I say that? Shooting the shit and having a good time back and forth. So today we open up the doors to some visitors, which apparently I've turned on. So, that's what we do. Where's the CSX trade? Who said that? I just sent it out via text. Did I? Let me look at my cell phone here. It should have fired. I got it. Everybody get your CSX trade? Oh, you mean the other CSX trade? The bull put spread I just had on the screen. All right, guys, I'll leave the bull put spread up here. It's going to be in the replay. I'll show you the resulting iron. Well, let me just bring it up. Here's the total iron condor. Maybe I'll just leave it up like that. Okay, so this will be the total iron condor. Thanks for the support, guys. I appreciate it. It's we have fun here. I mean, this is why we're a tight-knit squadron. We're not for everybody. I certainly don't want everybody as a member. Trust me, I've gotten rid of members before just because if you're not going to be a fit, we just don't need it. I mean, I'm not a charity, obviously, but at the end of the day, I'm more passionate about helping you guys. I love seeing your success stories in the chat box. Whiz, I'm up 25. This is why I do it, man, is because we have a good group of people here, and hopefully we're going to do a lot more live events coming up so we can all meet and hang out and break some shit. Okay? So thanks, Dutch. I appreciate it, my brother. So thank you, Fish. Thanks, Howard. You bet. You bet. Yeah, you bet, Kirk. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, hey man, this is why I served 16 years in the Navy, was so we could have these spirited debates. And trust me, I love the engagement. I love the pushback and the give and take, Kirk. So hopefully you join us. I think we'd have a good time. So. Elaine, I'm a retired sailor. I appreciate your thoughts. Elaine, thank you for your service. So I will, Patrick. I'm going to head up to Orlando this weekend and hang out with my middle boy, Jack, and watch him play hockey since my boy's up in Norwich, and I still can't. We get 10 minutes Sunday night again, so we're going to talk to Matthew this Sunday night. So I appreciate it. You too, guys. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and I'll see many of you Monday. Maybe, and like I said, for the price of a glass of 1942 last night, for less than the price of a glass of 1942, you can take a test flight. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It might be my headset's going. So I think I'm heading to Staples. So, all right, guys, thank you, Arthur. All right, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. I'll see you on Tuesday for a joint weekly options and primary live trade brief. Make sure you have a volatility hedge on, guys. These 3-day weekends, man, anything can happen with Donald Trump as president and what's going on in the world. All right, good. Now the VIX is up 3% as we're sitting here, and VXX should be, yeah. All right. Of course, it's doing the reverse, but all right, guys. I'll get you the replay and the screenshots here shortly, and hopefully, if you want to take a 2-week trial, you do. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great 3-day weekend, and God bless. We'll see you.